Greetings everyone, welcome to Spacing Out. I'm Maureen Elsberry.
And I'm Alejandro Rojas. Thanks for joining us.
We're here to get you caught up on the news, so here are some of the space and UFO stories that have made headlines recently. A witness photographed a UFO in the sky above the English town of St. Helens on the night of Monday, September 15th.
The witness was walking his dog at approximately 7 p.m. when he noticed the unusual aerial object. He was able to photograph the UFO with his cell phone before the object vanished.
He sent his UFO photo to the local newspaper, the St. Helens Reporter. He explains to the paper that the mysterious object seemed to hover in the same spot for almost a full minute before it suddenly shot off onto the right and disappeared.
The witness offers his opinion that the object he observed exhibited behaviors not characteristic of known aircraft. He is also convinced that what he saw was not a Chinese lantern. No one, except his dog, was with the witness when he saw the UFO.
That witness explains that since he began sharing his sighting story, others have told him about similar events in the area. He opines, who knows, maybe this town is a bit of a hotspot for UFO activity.
Last month, Russian ISS orbital mission chief Vladimir Soloviev made worldwide headlines with his news that Russian scientists had discovered traces of sea plankton on the surface of the ISS. NASA shed doubt on the discovery, and little has been said since. However, the German Aerospace Center, also known as DLR, recently responded to questions on the issue, confirming the discovery of bacterial DNA, but casting doubt on other aspects of the Russian report.
ITAR TASS news agency, who broke the story originally, said the discovery confirms some organisms can live on the surface of the International Space Station for years amid factors of a spaceflight, such as zero gravity, temperature conditions, and hard cosmic radiation.
However, amid all of the excitement, NASA put the brakes on the celebration by stating they could not confirm the claims. NASA spokesman Dan Huot told Space.com, as far as we're concerned, we haven't heard any official reports from our Roscosmos colleagues that they've found sea plankton. Roscosmos is Russia's federal space agency.
Little officially has been heard since, and as Forbes puts it, to be clear, the actual astronauts aboard the space station haven't chimed in on the space plankton controversy. Rather, it's being fought out in the media via brief quotes from space agency representatives here on Earth.
Now, another one of those space agencies, the German Aerospace Center, the DLR, which serves as the German space agency and is a prominent member of the European Space Agency, also known as the ESA, has chimed in via social media. GREWI.de, who describes themselves as a German frontier science news magazine, has reported that although their request to the ESA for a response went unanswered, one of their readers, Tanja Wolf, did receive a response from the DLR via Facebook.
DLR spokeswoman Elisa Wilkin wrote, "At an extravehicular activity, Russian cosmonauts took samples from the outside of the Russian module. Those samples were then analyzed in a laboratory on Earth. Within this sample, bacterial DNA was discovered. However, the method by which the samples were analyzed in this case is disputed, as it cannot detect all kinds of bacteria, and it also cannot test whether the discovered bacteria are living and thriving or not. Also, the biomass that can be extracted from such samples is strongly limited, so that at the moment no further tests could have been conducted on it. To do this, more samples would be needed."
Wilkins' response seems to more clearly define what the Russians may have found and confirms the discovery of bacterial DNA. However, it seems that the Germans are not confident whether the microorganisms were alive, let alone thriving, and are also unsure of the type of bacteria that may have been collected.
If the Russians have any other reasons to believe the bacteria they collected was sea plankton that was possibly alive and possibly even thriving, it appears that the US and the Germans have not yet been made aware.
An airplane passenger returning home from a vacation in Greece caught some strange lights on video while in the air on approach to Cardiff, Wales.
The sighting was reported by Wales Online, and the video apparently captured on the passenger's cell phone late Tuesday night. The 29-year-old witness says his plane arrived in Cardiff at about 10 p.m. He says the lights were very bright. In fact, he says, "It was the brightest thing I've ever seen."
Although he observed the lights for a few minutes, he didn't start recording until after watching the lights for a couple minutes. He then captured about a minute of video. The witness told Wales Online, "We were flying from Greece to Cardiff. It was on a Tuesday night and happened about 20 to 40 minutes before we arrived at 10 p.m.
He continued, "The lights could have been from a few miles away. It was pitch black outside, so it's hard to say what it was. It was quite weird. It was very bright. It was the brightest thing I've ever seen. I just realized how bright it was and said to my girlfriend, 'Look at that.'"
He added, "I was staring at it for a while before I picked up my phone to film it, but it was there about 3 to 4 minutes. I thought it maybe could have been lanterns, but they didn't go away. They kept flying till I couldn't see them anymore. I really have no idea what it could have been. It was just really, really bright. UFO is a really broad term. That's what it was, you know, an unidentified flying object."
In the video, 5 out of focus lights can be seen in the distance. Then the witness zooms in and the lights come into focus. It is hard to tell if they're moving at all. Then a couple more lights appear, making about 8 at once. Some of the lights continue to dim out as others appear.
Wales Online does not speculate or offer any suggestions as to the nature of the lights, but does ask, what are they? The lights are probably not Chinese lanterns, as lanterns are lit from the ground and stay lit until they get into the sky, unlike these lights, which lit up in the sky.
However, another possibility is military flares. A couple of miles west of Cardiff Airport is the St. Athan Royal Air Force Base. During nighttime operations, flares can be dropped from planes that are working in a covert mode with their visible lights off. There's also a couple other explanations, including the possibility of lights from mobile offshore drilling operations and/or boats in the sea.
The UK Ministry of Defence began a campaign in 2008 to release all of their UFO files, a process which supposedly had come to an end in June 2013. However, in a response to a letter inquiring about specific UFO files, the MOD says it is treating the letter as a Freedom of Information Act, also known as FOIA, request, and as such has found the documents in question and will be releasing them. The FOI response says the files are being prepared to be released to the National Archives, which they call the TNA, of the UK, a process which may take 9 months.
The FOI response was released on September 16 as part of the weekly posting on the Ministry of Defense website listing FOI responses of the week. The document is titled, "Whether documents titled UFO Policy and 3 other documents still exist, and if so, are they still classified?"
Only an excerpt of the original letter to the MOD is included and states the request as whether documents covering the period 1971 to 76 and 1996 to 2000 titled UFO Policy and 3 other documents covering the periods June through December 2000, December 2000 to March 2004, and March 2004 exist, and if so, are they still classified?
The FOI response outlines that the documents were found and that they will be released to the TNA, making them available in about 9 months. The document also includes a table of the 18 documents to be released. They include several documents titled Air Traffic Control, Low-Flying UFOs, several others titled ADGE UFO Reports, and then, among others, the specific files requested.
The name of the person who made the request is redacted, so it's unknown who or why the request was made, or perhaps more importantly, how the requester knew to ask for these particular files. Of even more concern to UFO researchers is why these files were not included with the UFO files already released. If a simple FOIA request results in the discovery of more UFO files, it begs the question, how many more files does the MOD have? Furthermore, this demonstrates that the MOD was either mistaken or dishonest when they claim to have already released all of their UFO files.
Nick Pope, former UFO investigator for the MOD, told the Daily Star, "This is a huge embarrassment for the MOD and will have UFO enthusiasts up in arms." Pope continued, "When the government said that all its UFO files had been released, conspiracy theorists didn't believe everything had been made public, and it turns out they were right."
As for the files themselves, Pope says the 18 files include ones from RAF radar specialists and from the ultra-secretive Defense Intelligence staff, so there may be some fascinating revelations still to come.
But you have to wait 9 months to see them.
Yeah, 9 months. Oh my gosh, that's forever.
I know, and I don't know what the process is of why this 9 months has to take place. We've found the files. Just upload them to your website and release them to the public. I know that there's probably a lot of red tape, but still 9 months is a very long time.
Well, and you know, Pope makes them sound very exciting. You could go see the table. We linked to the document themselves, and I asked Pope some more because the person who made the request was very, very specific.
Right.
And when you look at the name of the files, they have the exact name of the files, so they knew these files existed. I asked Nick if he knew who made the request and how they knew of the files. He wasn't quite sure. He said John Burroughs, who is one of the Rendlesham witnesses, has been making some requests, so he thinks it might be part of that.
I can see that.
Yeah, these files should be very interesting, but we have to wait 9 months to see them.
I know, and again, like we said, is this big issue is they were supposed to have released all of the files. Yeah. Why are they keeping these ones under wraps? And now they're having to release them, or they've decided to do so.
Yeah.
But it begs the question, what's going on?
Or what the hell?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
It's like last week we talked about the NSA documents, and here's another example of some really fishy stuff, this time from the UK government regarding UFO files.
Mystery continues, and hopefully somehow magically we'll get more information about those prior to this 9-month timetable. But several global media outlets ran stories both last week and this week about an alleged UFO sighting in England. The sighting also generated considerable social media buzz as well. But did this UFO sighting merit all the attention it received? Jason McClellan has the story.
Multiple witnesses allegedly observed a UFO over the Hampshire city of Portsmouth in England. Several people began posting sighting claims on Twitter beginning on Tuesday, September 16th. Witnesses described seeing a fast-moving gray disc-like object. One witness, Lewis Rogers, claimed he saw the strange object on Wednesday, September 17th, and he posted a photo of the UFO on Twitter. Local newspaper The Portsmouth News published a story about the UFO sighting. My initial thought was it was an airplane, but it was just moving too quickly, Rogers explained to the paper. I was the only one that saw it, but was quick enough to take the picture. He continued, I definitely believe in UFOs and am very interested in science fiction, and often look up at the sky in the evening wondering if there is anything or anyone else out there. The object in Rogers' photo is just an elongated blur, providing no detail. The object's appearance led some to speculate that it was simply a bird or even a cloud. The Portsmouth News checked with the Met Office, UK's National Weather Service, to get a professional opinion about the unusual object. The Met's Laura Young stated, after looking at the image, I can say the object has nothing to do with weather. It is not meteorological and is not a cloud. Media outlets around the world ran with the story about this mysterious UFO over Portsmouth, despite the lack of any real detail except for the photo showing a blurry object in the sky. A major red flag with this case emerged right from the start. Although several people were posting on Twitter about having seen the UFO, or about wanting to see the UFO, all of these posts included the hashtag Pompeii UFO. Pompeii is the nickname for Portsmouth. And the post generally seemed silly and lighthearted. Even Rogers was having fun with his alleged sighting. He posted, just found the Pompeii UFO, and included a photo of himself posing with a miniature figure of E.T. The use of a hashtag by multiple people is a good indication that a UFO sighting is a hoax carried out with the hopes of creating a buzz to promote some upcoming event. And that is exactly what happened in this case. Several of the people posting on Twitter about the Pompeii UFO are members of a Hill Valley Preservation Society. This is a group of Back to the Future fans. Now, this group is participating in the upcoming Sci-Fi and Fantasy Weekend, a weekend event in Portsmouth celebrating science fiction and fantasy. Well, on Monday, September 22nd, organizers posted on the event's Facebook page that they were responsible for the UFO hoax. It was an attempt at a viral marketing campaign for the upcoming event. The Portsmouth News did a follow-up story about the hoax in which they included a statement from the event's organizer, Joshua Hibbard. We got 8 or 10 people from around Portsmouth to take pictures at the same time on the same evening, he explained. I emailed them to another organizer, Dan Cook, who is a whiz with Photoshop. He added the UFO, and we had help from others to get people talking about it on social media. He explains that the event is on a fairly low budget, and the hoax was the best way he could come up with to get the event put on the map without spending lots of money. This isn't the first UFO hoax carried out for promotional purposes, and it surely won't be the last. The UFO hoax is always a confusing and questionable marketing gimmick. Sure, in this case, the UFO photo made headlines around the world, but all that attention is on the UFO, not the event. Although the truth about its purpose has been revealed, very few media outlets will go back and edit their stories or choose to publish news stories about the UFO's true origin. But beyond the UFO's effectiveness as a marketing gimmick, Its use in instances like this perpetuate the idea that all UFOs are either hoaxes or have some other easy explanation. It's also like crying wolf, which makes media outlets less likely to take UFO sightings seriously. Yes, most UFO sightings can eventually be explained, but there are truly unexplainable instances out there that deserve widespread attention and inquiry. Hoaxes like the Portsmouth UFO make that increasingly difficult by putting the global media spotlight on rubbish.
That's all for this episode of Spacing Out. Remember to visit our website, openminds.tv, for all the latest UFO news. Also, don't forget to register for the 2015 International UFO Congress. The largest annual UFO conference in the world takes place February 18th through the 22nd in Fountain Hills, Arizona. All the events and information is at ufocongress.com.
If you enjoyed today's show, make sure to click on the like button, leave us your comments, and subscribe to our channel. You can also download our podcast, Open Minds UFO Radio, on iTunes or at openminds.tv/radio. Thanks again for joining us today. I'm Alejandro Rojas.
And I'm Maureen Elsberry. We will see you in the future.